Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you to yet another episode of the Special Needs Children podcast with me, Chitra Iyer. In our previous episode, we explored the importance of vocational planning and how it can shape meaningful futures for our children with special needs. Today, we are taking that conversation a step further. In this episode, I'm revisiting some incredible individuals and organizations who are creating a real impact in this space. They're not just talking about possibilities, they're building pathways, nurturing skills, and opening doors for children and young adults to lead fulfilling and independent lives. Join me as we hear their stories, their challenges, and their inspiring work that's changing the landscape of vocational opportunities for our community. Let's start with Ms. Radhika Agarwal, a member of Vishesh's founding team. Listen to how the team at Vishesh add value by creating meaningful career pathways, empowering individuals with the right skills, and enabling organizations to build truly inclusive workspaces.
As time moved, we started moving into the space of disability. Our first endeavor was with deaf persons. We started getting jobs for them and then gradually expanded our scope to working with persons with physical disabilities. Over the last 8 to 9 years, we started working with neurodivergent candidates. And currently, we are also working with people who are blind, persons with mental health issues, and also, rare conditions like multiple sclerosis, Sjogren's syndrome, etc. The ethos for Vishesh's foundation, is that inclusion is the main thought behind the setup of this company. I think the founders and all of us today would like to create a level playing field for the marginalized. So access to employment is a very, very good way. It's a good litmus test for inclusion because, once a person starts earning, it helps them to become confident. It helps the family to start trusting them. It brings in social acceptance and independent living. So the entire perception of the individual changes. And the idea of Vishesh is to create opportunities for those who have been left behind. So the Shesh part in Vishesh actually talks about creating opportunities for those who've been left behind. And I think the important part that we'd like to emphasize is, we try to find them jobs which are aligned to their ambition. We just don't want to get them a fit because we feel that, this is the fit for them. We want to get them a fit that they would like any other non-disabled individual. So that's, about our journey to, from start to today.
Coming up next is Dr. Gayatri Narayanan, founder and director of Prakramika Vocational Institute, who is shaping a future where every individual, regardless of ability, can access skill-based learning and meaningful employment opportunities.
I do a lot of vocation, and even in vocation, I had many challenges. Again, if I see just the vocation is not enough. Okay, I do my candle making, I do my soap making, or I do block printing. So just that is not enough. So now what? Can that alone I'll help the child to lead a independent life? Okay, my child knows to do a block printing. Is that enough? What about the communication? What about the safety aspect? What about the functionality? So how do you record your computer skills? There are so many things that are there. So again, when it comes to the vocation, you need a complete set. So we formed that curriculum in under vocation. Even in my work also, I was thinking there was a gap between inclusion and vocation. The inclusion is academic people. Vocation is the non-academic side. But there was a segment of people who are caught in between, segment of students. You can't call them totally academic because they are not able to compete with the regular your post-graduation, doctorate or chartered accountant or engineer. They are not able to compete over there. At the same time, you cannot call them totally non-academic, and they are not in that way because they have finished their 12th grade. So now what for them? So that is when we thought, why don't we explore the skill-based education? So we explored the corporate side where all our children can fit in. So we had a list of those areas, and slowly we started developing a curriculum for that. The first was the front office management, which we did for Club Bengistan with just 14 students, and surprisingly many of them got job in that. So that was actually a pat on my back. I said, yeah, we are going in the right direction. So from one course, we developed five to 1 year program. And now we have 4 2-year programs. We have 30 courses developed in that.
Next is an insightful conversation with Beverly Lewis, founder of Mann, Center for Individuals with Special Needs, and co-founder of Karman. From creating handcrafted quilted products to fostering independence, the team at Mann are showcasing the impact of neurodiversity and inclusive opportunities for young adults with disabilities.
Began with a very small thought, and a simple thought rather, that we just want to give them age-appropriate experiences, because we didn't see them out in society. We felt, that they also had the same needs like we did as young adults. They wanted to go shopping, go to movies, but why did we not see them out in society as often? So we said, okay, let's first start with providing them that exposure. And then from there, it grew into something bigger because we realized that they were so much more than that. They taught us that they were so much more than that. We were 3, we didn't have enough of funds to run the program and didn't have, too much of support because our focus was on people who come from marginalized communities, below poverty line. And that's how we saw 3 or 4 of our beneficiaries who started imitating us and helping us out as teacher assistants. They used our dialogues. They helped us with the ones who had higher support needs and had a better impact with them. And one day we just told them that why not, we'll make you our teacher assistants. So we gave them their first job. And I think seeing that transformation after we gave them their first job, how they would proudly come in every morning and tell us, today we traveled in the first class compartment and not in the handicapped. And we bought our own handbag and our sunglasses with our own money. Those little things, and we saw how their parents' viewpoint about them changed. They started respecting them more. And then we said, okay, we have to, work on employment as a program, and built a new chapter of Mann. We built this employment curriculum in partnership with industry experts. So we went there as special educators. We didn't have enough of exposure on what skills are required in order to include them or help them build a career. And there was not too much available out there. So we said, okay, let's study what the industry demands are and then come back and create a curriculum that can be easily digestible by a person with a disability themselves, or a parent, or an organization, a trainer. So we came back, studied first with one industry. We went to the hospitality industry, spent 6 months there under the department heads, studied the roles, built the curriculum, and then they were absorbed by the first hotel, and then gradually every other hotel wanted to employ them. Similarly, we did that with the corporate industry and studied the roles there. And today we have 9 different industries, the most recent one being the banking curriculum that we've added. And the curriculum is growing. Every year we keep studying the emerging trends and the new standards and expectations, and we add that and adapt it. Wonderful. And of course, that's the training part of it. And we've also learned that mental health is such an important part of making this successful and providing the support to the individual and the family and the employer and society at large. So while we train and provide mental health, and the eventual goal is always employment and standing on their own feet and building their own self-esteem, and eventually inclusion into society. So Karman is a separate company. It's focused on, it's almost like a business that we that employs people with disabilities for all of the roles that we have within it. So as a brand, our focus is on upcycling fabric that's typically going to waste. So we almost look at it like the people with disabilities who were considered not useful and who were considered as, you know, being waste. They can't do anything. Just like the fabric that was, you know, discarded or not useful. And we kind of give both of them a new life by, you know, they create the product and they use the waste fabric and they make a new product. So we do a lot of corporate gifting. We also do a lot of job work for different brands. So we sell under our own brand. We do work for other brands also. And the focus will be always on upcycling and using up fabric that's typically going to waste. So everyone comes to Mann. Then we identify what their strengths are. So if someone is interested in hospitality, they do the hospitality training. If someone, then they eventually get placed in a hotel. We help them find a job. We provide them with on-job training support, so post-training support. And once they are placed, we also ensure through the mental health team that the corporate is sensitized, the teams are sensitized. We have events and workshops for them consistently, and then the individual is settled in the organization, and as and when they need us, they call us.
I also spoke to Ms. Aradhana Lal, a TEDx speaker who leads sustainability and ESG initiatives at Lemon Tree Hotels. Listen to her as she talks about building an inclusive workforce and hiring employees with disabilities for the past 15 years. From their training processes to the advantages of hiring people with disabilities, there is so much to learn from this one.
Firstly, we've been doing this work since 2007 overall. The work we started with autism was 2013 or 14, but that's a different matter. What we found is that to be ranked amongst the top 10 or even the top 20 of great place to work, it's a matter of many initiatives and many practices in the area of human resources, in the area of people, which includes the inclusion and diversity work naturally. And I think the extent to which we have brought diversity into Lemon Tree has really put us in a different space. It's a unique space. And the Great Place to Work organization acknowledges this, and therefore it comes out in the results. That's what happens. When you ask me that who started this idea, it was our chairman and managing director, whose name is Pathu Keswani, who was having a conversation with our HR team at the time. My role was different. My role was sales and marketing at that time. And his view was that what would really happen if we hired somebody with disability? Our HR team and our operations team said that we all don't know, and the only thing we can do is try. To which the answer they got from our chairman was, please try. Let's see what happens. So it was done as a pilot, as an experiment at the very beginning. As we started hiring a few people at our 3 or 4 hotels, we didn't have too many hotels then. These were all speech and hearing impaired colleagues at the time. In about 2 years, we reached approximately 20 speech and hearing impaired colleagues, and they were spread across 4 or 5 hotels. That is when a proper evaluation was done, and it was looked at from an HR perspective and a business perspective, that what has this initiative given us? And the very clear understanding, even in those early days, we can see those results today much better. But even in that small little team and in those early days, what was understood was that the enthusiasm, the energy, the desire to perform for people with disability was very, very high, because they would not usually get a chance to participate. And if Lemon Tree was offering them a chance to participate, they really wanted to give their best. We also understood that training was a very, very important aspect. And it was for us to make sure these team members were well trained and the content was provided to them in the way that they can understand it. When we did this, and we also understood in the case of deaf, that since they cannot speak and since they cannot hear, the only way a hearing person like you and I can communicate with them is through Indian Sign Language. So one of the early steps we implemented at that point was to make sure that all employees in Lemon Tree learned the Indian Sign Language.
Next is an excerpt from my conversation with Ms. Priti Singh, Head of Adult Services at Action for Autism, New Delhi. She shares when and how autistic adults can prepare for independent or assisted living and the role open employment or sheltered workshops can play in this journey.
एडल्ट्स के लिए भी डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ प्रोग्राम्स हैं जिसमें हम लोग काम करते हैं. इसमें भी बहुत रेंज है. जैसे अगर मैं बोलूँ, एक हमारा शेल्टर वर्क प्लेस है जहाँ पर वो इंडिविजुअल्स वर्क करते हैं जिनको शायद बहुत सपोर्ट की जरूरत है, और ऐसा सपोर्ट जो शायद ओपन एनवायरनमेंट में कहीं नहीं मिलेगा, पर दे आर एबल टू वर्क इन अ सपोर्टेड एनवायरनमेंट, और इसीलिए वो शेल्टर वर्क प्लेस में काम कर रहे हैं. तो वहाँ पर हमारे अराउंड 35-40 इंडिविजुअल्स हैं जो वर्क करते हैं. 2 सेंटर्स इन डिफरेंट लोकेशंस, उनमें काम करते हैं. और वहाँ प्रोडक्शन पे काम होता है, साथ साथ वर्क बिहेवियर्स एंड सॉफ्ट स्किल्स, इन दोनों पे भी वर्क होता है. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ हम प्रोडक्शन के ऊपर फोकस करते हैं ऑटिज्म के साथ जब काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हम उसके साथ साथ सोशल स्किल्स, वर्क बिहेवियर्स, इंटरपर्सनल बिहेवियर्स, टाइम मैनेजमेंट, एवरीथिंग, इंडिपेंडेंट फंक्शनिंग जो बहुत जरूरी है, उन सब के ऊपर भी काम करते हैं. एंड दूसरा प्रोग्राम जो हमारा आता है शेल्टर वर्क प्लेस के बाद, एक एम्प्लॉयमेंट रेडीनेस प्रोग्राम. ये प्रोग्राम हमने स्टार्ट किया था इन 2015 से, क्योंकि जब हमने देखा कि जब हम डायरेक्टली कभी एम्प्लॉयमेंट में हम इंडिविजुअल को डालते हैं किसी भी काइंड ऑफ वर्क प्लेस में, चाहे वो शेल्टर वर्क प्लेस हो या फिर वो कोई और दूसरा वर्क प्लेस हो, तो वहां पर मीन्स ओपन एम्प्लॉयमेंट टाइप का वर्क प्लेस, वहां पर डालने के लिए जब हम बात कर रहे हैं तो उसमें बहुत सी चीजें हमें देखनी पड़ती है कि किसी भी एनवायरनमेंट में ऑटिज्म में काम करना मुश्किल नहीं होता है, लेकिन किसी भी टेक्निकल स्किल्स को सीखना मुश्किल नहीं होता है, मैं ये बोल सकती हूँ. परंतु उस टेक्निकल स्किल को परफॉर्म करने के लिए मेरे आसपास के लोगों के साथ जो मेरा मेल मिलाप होगा, या मैं बोल सकती हूँ सोशल कम्युनिकेशन होगा, मेरे उस काम को करने के लिए जितना मेरा टाइम मैनेजमेंट वाला सिस्टम होगा, अदर एस्पेक्ट्स होंगे जो मेरी एंजाइटी को हाई करते हैं, उनके ऊपर काम करना जरूरी होता है बिफोर प्लेसिंग देम. क्योंकि हम डायरेक्टली प्लेस कर देते हैं, लेकिन वो चीजें तो समझ नहीं आ रही कि मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है, कैसे मुझे इसके साथ ओवरकम करना चाहिए. तो ये एक प्रोग्राम है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट रेडीनेस प्रोग्राम, फिर हम लोगों ने किया शुरू, और ये एक शॉर्ट टर्म प्रोग्राम होता है. पर इस शॉर्ट टर्म प्रोग्राम में वी ट्राई टू टेल द इंडिविजुअल टू असेस देमसेल्व्स, उनके खुद के अपने चैलेंजेस को वो खुद असेस करें, एंड उसके बाद उस तरीके के सपोर्ट हम प्रोवाइड करते हैं. बहुत विजुअलाइज होता है, रोल मॉडल से होता है, वीडियो प्ले होता है, काफी फॉर्मेट्स, काफी फ्लो चार्ट्स यूज होते हैं जिसमें उन्हें समझ आता है कि उनके चैलेंजेस क्या हैं और उन चैलेंजेस से ओवरकम करने के लिए उनके लिए बेस्ट स्ट्रेटेजी क्या हो सकती है.
So parents, this was a roundup of some of the experts I have interviewed earlier about how they are helping us with their services in the vocational space for special needs adults. Hope you found it helpful. For more information, do write in to us at teammfa@myfinad.in. Don't forget, please, to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube.